This looks to be a juvenile bird based kind of on the size of the bird.
The patients here undergoing eye examinations, submitting to a series of x-rays, and having their blood evaluated can't really tell you their story.
These guys have extremely large wingspans, up to 7 or 8 feet in an adult bird.
But chances are you have a good idea of what these American white pelicans have already been through.
You take a good feel of the whole animal.
They're among the thousands of birds coated with oil from the disaster in the Gulf. Volunteers cleaned many with simple soap and water and set them free, but not the 5 pelicans now being evaluated at the Brookfield Zoo. Each had a previous wing injury that kept them from flying away from the dangers still in the Gulf.
If they wouldn't have been rescued, what would have happened to these birds?
These birds probably would have succumbed to the oil spill.
Just to sedate them, Brookfield vets had to design an anesthesia tube long enough for their enormous bills.
And so the bill goes about how far down?
The bill's pretty much about to here on this one. One of the things we really worry about with birds is if they get a little bit of oil on their feathers, they naturally preen that off, and as they preen that oil off, they ingest most of it, so we can see secondary toxic effects from the oil.
The pelican refugees were originally taken to a zoo in Jackson, Mississippi. Brookfield curators dropped 4 of them off at a zoo in St. Louis and continued on to Chicago with the remaining 5. Once their health is cleared, they'll have a permanent home in the zoo's central pool.
What's it like knowing the backstory of these birds?
It's touching, really. It's nice to know that we're able to provide a home for these animals.
I have no idea. What is about today that's so special?
It's the last day you can wear white pants.
It's the last day of summertime.
It's Labor Day.
It's just a holiday, we don't work. Yay!
It's the last beach day.
Last day of the beaches?
It's the last day the beaches are open. Is it
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, we've been meaning to get out. This is actually our first time here this summer, so we go to at the end.
Sad? Yes, it's a sad day. Last day of summer, sort of.
It's a little sad. How many guesses did we have to get there?
Oh, it's the last beach day? I didn't know that.
Well, actually that's not true for me. I'm rigging up my sail. I'm windsurfing. This is actually when the season gets good. So after the holiday, it's not so crowded, the winds usually pick up a bit.
Yeah, kind of sad, huh? Melancholy.
So what does that mean?
The lifeguards are leaving us.
It is sad because I want to get my tan still. I'm like very pale. I had summer school.
We still have a couple months before snow starts falling.
If they completely fenced off the beaches and no one was
Yeah,
allowed
not
in,
in, then yeah, we're
sad.
sad face.
You can still come.
First reaction to one of these surveys is that it can't be true, not about my city, my livable city. Then you stop and think how many times you have to stop talking. I'll be back in a minute. Now that's a moment of stress.
And I found a million. Drill down deep, and you'll find those familiar beeps and whines mount up to a symphony of noise. Stressful? Yeah. But how about this? We know that needing to be somewhere and going nowhere is about as stressful as it gets, as is crime. But both are just the obvious measurements in the study. Unemployment rates, environmental factors, health risks, and living standards are all figured in. It should be no surprise in Chicago, because we were thinking about stress as far back as the 1800s. Frederick Law Olmsted, who designed Central Park in New York City, laid out a Chicago system of parks and lagoons designed to, quote, relieve the stresses of the city, and that was 1871. Jackson Park and Washington Park came first, complete with wide-open meadows where sheep roamed. They added Douglas and Garfield and Humboldt and Lincoln and Grant parks. Eventually 555 parks, all designed to relieve the stress that came with living in a crowded, hot city. Daniel Burnham called it a necklace of green, an escape, an air conditioner, a cure for stress. And the tradition continued with our Millennium Park. Intended as a place of repose from the hustle and bustle of the city, it turned out to be the best of all. Exactly what the early designers hoped for their park system, where people use it like a stress-relieving living room.